Good evening and welcome. My name is Helen Ford and I'm privileged to be the CEO of Jesuit Mission Australia. In the spirit of reconciliation, Jesuit Mission acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. So welcome to another Jesuit Mission Australia webinar. Tonight we'll share with how your generosity is bringing hope and opportunity to families who have fled Ukraine. It's been through your support of our Emergency Action Fund that our Jesuit partners across Europe have offered emergency shelter, food, medicine, counselling and education support to tens of thousands of people. And tonight, we're really privileged to welcome some of our friends from JRS Romania, Jesuit Refugee Service. Firstly, Director Fr Marius Talos, and also Anastasiia, who fled Ukraine for Romania with her son over a year ago. Anastasiia now works for JRS Romania, assisting other Ukrainian refugees. And amazingly, JRS Romania has assisted more than 15,000 Ukrainian people since the beginning of the war last year. So welcome, Fr Marius and Anastasiia.
Hello, thank you very much and good evening, everyone.
It's great to have you with us.
Thank you for inviting us for this meeting.
Great. I'd also like to introduce my colleague, Kath Rossick. Kath is our International Programs Director. And earlier this year, Kath and I had the great pleasure of meeting Anastasiia in Bucharest, Romania, as part of our project monitoring trip. So it's really nice for the three of us to connect again. So I'd now like to hand over to Kath to kick off our webinar.
Thank you, Helen, and a very warm welcome to Fr Marius, Anastasiia, and our webinar attendees. To those of you at home, we definitely want to hear from you. So please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom screen to submit any questions to us. So Fr Marius, let's start with you. Could you explain how JRS Romania has responded to the Ukraine emergency since the beginning?
Thank you very much for your question. I still remember the night of 26th of February when we have welcomed in our JRS center the very first refugee from Ukraine. He was a young guy from Odessa, and he was still shocked by the footprints of the bomb in his memory and in his experience. Since then, that means more than 16 months, we have been helping more than 22,000 refugees from Ukraine, from welcoming to protecting, from promoting to integrating them in these 4 steps underlined by Pope Francis. And we assisted more than 40,000 services granted to refugees from Ukraine. We crossed the very first step of assistance in the first stage of welcoming people, but we realized it is more difficult to stand by them day after day in the process of integrating. It is a long journey, but it is worth to be done, and I'm grateful for your support for that.
Thank you, Fr Marius. I also understand that in over a year, JRS Romania's staff numbers have doubled. So how is JRS adapting to the situation as the war continues?
Well, we say in Romania, all good things are free. Actually, our figure has been threefold multiplied, not only doubled. We count up today with 185 staff members in our JRS Romania team. It is huge and unbelievable. We usually were around 40 in the whole country, and 2/3 are our Ukrainian colleagues. And I'm both grateful and challenged by their presence, because they help us to help them better. And in our sharing, I receive more than I'm able to get. Of course, there are challenges in terms of human resources. We had to double the team. There are challenges in terms of accountancy. We have almost tripled the current economical team, but it is very important to realize that we are not merely helping others, but we collaborate both with you and with our Ukrainian colleagues into a joint mission. It is not JRS mission, but the mission of all together to help these families from Ukraine.
Thank you, Father Marius. Anastasiia, it's so nice to see you again and to have the chance to chat. Thank you for agreeing to share your story with us. So can you tell us why you decided to leave the Ukraine?
Hello, once more time. Thank you for your questions. Why it's very, maybe in one side it's very difficult question, in another it's very easy question, because it's about scared. To be honest, it's about scared about my life and life of my son. So we stay only, the war started 24th of February and we left country like 27th of February. And it's because I see how my son scared, and I hear bombs, I hear alarm all time, and I decided I should go. It was very difficult, of course, because I don't know Romanian, like a country. I don't know Romanian language. I don't have friends here. At that time, I don't know nobody who live here. But we make this step and we coming in this beautiful country. Thank you.
Anastasiia, Kath and I were so inspired when we met you by your strength and your resilience and your courage. And I remember you sharing with us that you felt your son became a man almost overnight because of what he experienced. What was your son's reaction when you decided to leave?
It's very difficult reaction too, because he very scared to stay in Ukraine, but he's scared to left, and he was very, very upset that our grandmothers don't go with us. So it's like he don't. I see it his eyes that he don't understand what will happening tomorrow. So he don't know how we will live in another country. And but I try to make for him this like a trip, how I can do this, like to explain to him that we will go and our family will come to us, and in a finish all our family come, my mother and my grandmother come to Romania to us. But he tried to be a real man. He tried to help me. He all time tried to take a bag or to be very strong. I see that it's very difficult, was very difficult for him. And even after we come in Romania, maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, we begin have some health problem. He have neurotic tic, and it was very difficult for us. We meeting many doctors. We drink some pills. He drinks some pills. It's not really helps them, and we decide to go to psychological session. And only after this, he managed this tic, and it's passed. But yes, and I see now that I take a little child with me, And now I have a big, strong man. Like this 1 year, he grown up too quickly. I cannot tell that I'm very happy because all the children should have a child, like should have this children time. But we have what we have, and now we try to live in a new reality with in this
Anastasia,
country.
how old is he now? How old is he?
He's 11. He's
11.
11 years.
Yeah, no child should have to experience what he's experienced. How has he settled into life in Romania? It's wonderful that he's been able to move through the tick and the but has he settled?
Now he's okay because first 6 months was very difficult for us because we was like in isolation style.
Mm.
We live together. We don't know community like. But then when we find JRS, he began meeting some activities here. How we find it? So we like a refugee take some like protecting. We begin visit some activity. He begin talking with another children Ukrainian, and in this way he even now he tells me every morning. Today, for example, I said I go for office, and he said, "Can I go with you?" So it's like for him some safely place where he can feeling free.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah. Thank you for that sharing, Anastasia. Father Marius, to that point around children, how is JRS Romania supporting the Ukrainian children during this time? Father Marius, you're on mute.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you for
okay.
the question. For the current figures, as far we assist several thousands of children of Ukraine. There are more than 22,000 of Ukrainian children nowadays out of 110 refugees altogether residing actually in Romania. And first of all, we offer them educational services, which are dedicated to very young people from starting with 3 years old up to 17. And these are split in 3 main areas: the educational field, and then the psychological assistance, as Anastasia mentioned, is very important according to their age, to their current situation, to their main challenges to be coped with. And then, of course, we have recreational activities, which are in the same time opportunities to relate with each other, to make friends and socialize with their peers and their colleagues or mates from Romania. Because the issue of the integration is also a very important challenge for the midterm. So to be able to integrate within the society as long they are going to stay here. So these 3 main challenges are also for us some of our most important priorities. Of course, there is also the material assistance for children, for young boys and especially girls with their specific needs. But the top 3 are education, psychological assistance, and recreational opportunities.
Thank you, Father
Thanks,
Marius.
Marius.
Just a reminder to our attendees, if you could please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom screen to submit your questions, that would be great. Anastasiia, you've shared with us that your mum and your grandma are here as well. So could you tell us how life in Romania is for you and for your family?
Yes, thank you for this question. And looking, of course, in one side we have a good life, so we are safely. I have a job, and it's very important. And you know, I see many Ukrainian people who come to JRS, and without job, you cannot integration and normally socialized life. And it's even if you have some kind of money, something, you feel not safe there. So now, of course, I feel good because I have a beautiful job and beautiful colleague, and I'm really very happy that I'm in JRS and work with people. My family is it's okay. But we have many challenges, and it's about language, for example, because Romanian language is not really easy. It's very beautiful language, but not easy, and it's difficult because and not only for our family, for another people too, because I have this in my case when Ukrainian people come to me asking for help, for example, to go to the hospital and translate even from English to Ukrainian, because if you feel bad and you don't speak English and Romanian, it's a very big problem. Romanian medical, they try to help you, but without language, it's a difficult. Most difficult, I think, from my family, most difficult feeling my grandmother, because she's 79 years old. And in this age, to integration, to come to new country, it's a really difficult step, like difficult way, challenge. But we try to manage this, to pass this problem. Now I can tell that now it's all okay. I don't want to go to the drama way. So yes, like all people have some problems. In a, I don't know, my son have some problems with the children, because in this age, children not all time very kindly and very good. But in the, you know, like we have this kind of problem, but in the same time, we're meeting so many good people who try to help and who meeting us with an open heart, that it's very difficult to tell it's bad or good. Like it's, we have bad days and we have a good days, but in a general, all okay. Thank you.
Children are the same all around the world, aren't they, Anastasiia? All are the same. Anastasiia, question: Do you still hope to return to the Ukraine one day?
Yes, it's very difficult question. Of course, I missing my country, missing my town, and it doesn't matter how beautiful Romania for me and my new job here that I love it very much. But of course, I won't come back. Of course, but I try don't think about this, because when I begin thinking about my like I give myself promise something, it's like illusion promise. It's 1 month later, war is stopped. And in this moment, when I think like this, I stopped my life in a pause in this day, because I begin waiting. And when 1 month passed and nothing changed, of course, it's very, very hard. So I prefer don't think about this anymore. When war is stopped, of course, I will be very happy to come back to my country. But I live here 1 year and 3 months, 1 year and 4 months, and and now even I have this feeling when I go, for example, to some little trip to another town, And when I come back, I have now this new feeling for me that when I come to the Agara de Nord train station in Bucharest, it's like I come back home. I
Oh,
begin have this feeling that I'm at home, and it's scaring. This feeling scaring me because like I love my country and I love my town very much. But yes, I begin feeling that I'm at home here. I don't
oh,
know how it will be. I prefer don't think about this at this day because we see we all of us watch news, and I don't know if this war really finishing will finish soon.
mm.
I'm sorry, but I hope, but nobody knows. Thank
That's the
you.
question nobody does know the answer to, unfortunately. Thank you for that.
So Father Marius, could you tell us what inspires you the most about these refugees from Ukraine?
Thank you for your question. What inspires me most is their resilience. As we, as Romanians, start to complain ourselves about the hardships of nowadays life with multiple crises, when we look on how the Ukrainian, both in their country, but also in our country, are coping with their own challenges, I start to redimensionate my own challenges. So it is an appeal to be stronger and to have patience and determinants in order to overcome the challenges. So I am grateful to them because I start to complain less and to take care more.
Thank you, Father Marius.
So just another reminder that if you have a question, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. We're just going to share a short video now that sort of shows the faces and the people that have been benefiting from the JRS response. And thank you to all of you at home. Thank you for bringing such hope and opportunity to all of those people and faces that you saw in that video. Now over to some questions that we've received from you at home. I'd like to start with a question from Paul. And Father Marius, this is probably for you. Is the Romanian government supportive of your work?
I can say the Romanian government is supportive of the Ukrainian refugees as such, both by legislative facilities and also by offering accommodation opportunities. But the government itself, it doesn't support JRS or others NGOs as such. And in this sense, there is a survey, a recent survey from late February and March this year, according to which the Ukrainian refugees feel they are more supported by the civil society than by the government itself. So it is good to say that in spite of the goodwill and intention of the government as such, the concrete support comes from the civil society and NGOs like JRS, and there are some others too.
Thanks, Father Marius. And Father Marius, another question from Frank. He says, I believe that men were not permitted to leave Ukraine. Is JRS Romania able to assist families to reconnect or communicate with fathers and brothers?
Well, as far as I am concerned, the men who are offering military services, of course, are not allowed to cross the border and to come in Romania. But we welcome the elderly people, those who have special exceptions to cross the country for the borders for different reasons. There are parents with more children that in several cases are allowed to cross the border. There are also some men owning a means of transportation in order to carry goods and facilities for the civil society in Ukraine. For all these people, we have welcoming facilities and we foster the meeting and the merging of their families, but always respecting the international laws and, of course, the national legislation.
Thanks, Father Marius. Anastasiia, a question for you from Katrina. She asks whether you still have friends and family in Ukraine, and if so, how are their spirits? How is life there?
Thank you for this question. Yes, of course, I have many friends who now stay in Ukraine and cannot leave the country. All of them have a reason why they don't left. You know, for me, it's very strong people who stay now. And of course, they try to laughing, they try to enjoy life. But in the same time, of course, I see how I have, for example, one of my friends, she's very, very strong woman. She stays in Odessa with her daughter, and she said all will be okay. But sometimes I receive from her message at the middle of the night that they bombing us, or I feel scared and so on. And her daughter begins to tell her that I'm scared. So it's like they have a very, I think, difficult life. No, I don't think I know, because in a even in the cities where is no military near, the strategy of Russian war is very, very terroristic way, because now in Ukraine you cannot tell that you have a city where is safely. Like if we look back to history, if we look back for a Second World War, for example, yes, they like war coming, but in the country you have the place where is no, if military not near it, in this place it's like more safely. Now Russia bombing all our cities every day, one per 2 or per 3 days. So you cannot live like I feel okay and nothing happening. No, it's not the truth. It's not the truth. They have very difficult life, but I'm very proud of all Ukrainians, because even the people who stay now in Ukraine, even the people who have a little child, they try to help for another people who from Kharkiv, for example, or from Nikolaev, when Nikolaev have more difficult the situation, more dangerous. They try to help each other because maybe only in this way we have a chance to stay human and we have a chance to win in this war, something like this thing.
Thanks, Anastasiia. And another question for you, which is from Carlene, which is, what was your journey like in the first couple of weeks, or when you actually left Ukraine? Can you share a little bit about that?
What I feeling in these first days when war on the start?
Yeah.
My first day war start in 4:45. We hear bombing in our city in Odessa. I wake up and I like in some movie. Before war started, my favorite writer was Remark, and all his book is about war. So I read all his books, but I never think in my life that his books come in my life like a truth. So first day we stayed home. Many of my friends calling me and ask, can we come to your flat? I don't know why, but they think that it's safely near me in my flat. Instead, of course, my door is opening. And first day we only watch news. We only watch news because we don't understand what is this and how it will be. And in the second day, I don't really very clearly remember all these days because I just drink water and coffee and try to prepare some food for me. I don't want to eat. I don't want to do nothing. I just stay and thinking, what should I do? What will be my choice? Like one friend tell, don't go, it's danger in the road. Stay at home, it's more safe. Another friend tell, if you want, you should go. So it's like something I can't even share this feeling. But 3 days I stay in this situation when I should make decision. And when I make it and I understand that I will go, and we find one priest, he leave me a Brashov, our friends from another country find him, and he said, if you come, I will meeting you in the board. You should only pass the board. And yes, and I said, okay, we will go. We will go very quickly. I don't know, I think it's like 1 or 2 hours. I packed all my bags. I don't even take only documents, one or two, I don't know, like jacket, and that's all. I don't take a lot of clothes, and we go. Yes, but first day, and I remember this picture in my head I have when in the Odessa. It's a very nice city, and it's in the evening all Odessa in the light, like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember when we go, I don't remember, like in the shop, or I don't, like it's 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, all city dark, like, and I remember that I'm like in some movie, really like in some movie was in that moment. Yes, so first day was very difficult. Thank you for this question.
Such courage. Thank you for sharing that. Fr Marius, a question from Vin. What challenges do you think JRS will face if the war is prolonged?
The challenges of everyday life. Because it is one thing to grant a one-time help or assistance for a certain number of people. There is something else to provide ongoing assistance for several months or even years, as one of the scenarios are showing this possibility. So the first challenge is to make a lifestyle which is affordable both for the beneficiaries and also for the staff members of JRS. How to assure this ongoing situation for several months from now on. I think this is the main challenge, and it is translated within two main concerns. For the adults, how to integrate themselves by finding working opportunities on the local labor market, but with the concern where to live and to whom should I leave the children, and correspondingly educational opportunities for the children. So these are the two main challenges we are coping with day after day, and especially during the summer, because most of the Romanian families are thinking of their vacancies, of their holidays, and it's good, but how to think about these 2 or 3 months for several hundreds of families? This is another concern.
Thanks, Father Marius. Father Marius, a question from Tony, who's coming to us from St Ignatius Parish in Toowong in Brisbane. And he says, Father, what can we do in a meaningful way to help you? We are far away, but close to you spiritually.
I'm very touched by this question. It reminds me a letter from St. Ignatius to St. Francis Xavier. He was writing from Rome to St. Xavier in Moluccos Islands, and he was trying to imagine during the night in Rome how many flies are bothering St. Francis Xavier in India. So what I would like to ask this Mr. or this person is to keep watching the news, to keep having in mind what is really happening from trustful sources, and then to reflect how can he be of help or she of help for the people in need, because the mercy has always 3 dimensions: the one of attention, the one of empathy, and the third one of action. Thank you very much.
A beautiful response. Thank you very much, Father Marius. A question for either one of you, but for those people who have fled Ukraine, are they entitled to become citizens of Romania?
From a legal point of view, the Ukrainian refugees in Romania are given a permit of temporary protection, which is basically for 1 year with the possibility to be extended according to the needs and also to the requests. So far, the Romanian government has received more than 8,000 Ukrainian applications for asylum seekers for a temporary protection. We cannot reckon with the further requests, but it is not a question, as I'm concerned, for a long-term application. This is only a temporary provision on behalf of the Romanian authorities for the Ukrainian refugees. So becoming Romanian citizens is not an emergency as far as I'm concerned. We have a Ukrainian minority in Romania, several thousands, but they are here for historical reasons and for many years ago. These are Romanian citizens. The refugees is a total separate category. I
Thank
don't know
you.
whether Anastasiia would like to complete. This is the answer I could give.
No? Okay. If we could hear a little bit more about the education program, a question from Katrina, which is, are the children being taught in different languages?
I don't know whether Anastasiia would like to start and I can complete afterwards.
If I understand the question correctly, about education, which JRS have?
Yes, yes.
Of course, we understand that most important to integration is to learn Romanian language. So we have Romanian language here. It's for free and for children and for adults. But in the same point, we understand that to be in community in the first year when only children come, you know, like when you want to immigration because it's your feeling and you want, you choose the country, you learn language and you go. In our situation, we like I tell, 3 days after war started, I come to Romania. So we have many hubs in the Romanian school, hubs where we have Ukrainian teachers, and when Ukrainian children can learning, can study, and be in community to talk with Ukrainian children and feel more relaxing. And also we have many courses for children like chess, IT, painting. So to give, it's like extra that people who go to Romanian school, Ukrainian, they can come in the evening, like to extra classes and learn new skills and have socium here with Ukrainian people. So it's what we do. But Father Marius, I think, tell more.
Father Marius, you're on mute. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasiia. Basically, the educational process is developed within 3 main languages. The mother tongue, Ukrainian, also English, but we added Romanian. For the reasons I mentioned before, it is not going to become the current language for the Ukrainian pupils, but it is a tool to allow them to gain more knowledge while they are living in Romania. From the next autumn, the Romanian authorities require that the Ukrainian pupils might be registered, enrolled within the Romanian schools. So it means that while they are keep attending the classes in Ukrainian, they have also to be able to follow teaching process in the local language, Romanian.
Thank you both. We're coming to the close of our webinar, but before we do, I might ask both of you to, if you'd like to offer a message to our webinar participants. Anastasiia, would you like to share some words with them?
Yes, I want to tell, first of all, I want to tell a very big thank you for all people who helping us. It's very difficult to understand where when you are not refugee, to understand that it's so big help when you know that people like near you mentally, or it's not all time only about money. When you come to another country and you meet in a board some person who smile for you, it's helping you. When you come to some organization and I don't know, the people try to help you, or you have some activities, or you have some protecting, or I see how our refugees come to us. Sometimes they didn't need help. Some of them, they need only to talk and to feeling that somebody can protect and that, and it's so big help for all of us, and it's not only about Romania. It doesn't matter Romania, Australia, US, where Ukrainian refugees stay. We all, I can tell that we all can say very big thank you for your helping and that you are with us. And in this way, we feel more stronger. Like we have believing you give, all of you give us this believing that all will finish okay and all will be okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Father Marius?
I was very much impressed but about what Mr. Tony O'Mahony wrote in the question. We are far away but close to you spiritually. I would say our Australian friends gained a Romanian and Ukrainian spiritual citizenship.
We gratefully accept.
This is not a mere polite expression. It is wholeheartedly, because as I'm going to draw a map of the countries and continents to my nephew, I feel Australia a neighbor country in terms of support us and helping us to help other people. It is a lesson of hope, just as you wrote the topic of this webinar. St. Paul says two marvelous things about hope. Hope is never seen, but hope never disappoints. And you didn't disappoint us in your support. So thanks beyond words. And as one of the Ukrainian mothers told me, everything shall be all right, just as the words of Saint Julian of Norwich. So we bring together the whole spiritual map in JRS Romania. Grace to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Marius. They're beautiful words. Please know that you all remain very much in our hearts and in our prayers. And we are one big human global family. And you're our brothers and sisters, and we're standing right alongside you during this difficult time. I'd like to...
The cousins from East Europe.
Yeah, and we're the cousins from down under. I would like to offer my heartfelt thanks to both of you. Firstly, to Father Marius and Anastasiia for the wonderful work that JRS is doing in Romania with the Ukrainian community, and Anastasiia for being so open and authentic in your sharing with us. I know it's very difficult to recount your time leaving Ukraine, so we're most grateful for you sharing a piece of your story, and I know you'll remain in the hearts of those people that have joined us this evening. So enormous thank you. And thank you to everybody at home as well. This work can't be done without the extraordinary generosity and compassion of all of you. And we're extremely humbled by the outpouring of love that we received from our Jesuit mission family when the war started last year. So we do hope that this webinar does show the impact and shows you are bringing real hope to people living through injustice and war every day. So thank you very much again. And Kath, I hope you enjoyed your inaugural webinar. It wasn't too scary, was it?
Thank you, Helen.
So thank you again, and again, Anastasiia and Father Marius, our prayers and blessings are with you. And we look forward to welcoming you all to another webinar in the near future. So thank you very much, and good night, and probably a good morning for you in Romania.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye bye.